Good morning, everybody. You know what time it is. It is practice time on this fine Monday morning. Yep, still on alto for this one. We're still going to be doing the F sharp series. I don't exactly remember where we ended up. I think we ended up on the scale of thirds. So we're going to do that some more. Hopefully it won't take nearly as long as it did the other day. I don't have a whole lot to talk about today. Sorry for not playing yesterday. Just didn't feel like it. I was so slap tired yesterday, I just needed to go to bed. So I went to bed. So yeah, I've been warming up on my alto. So I don't have to do that. I'm going to do scale in thirds, and I'm going to try and hit the other two scales, the minor scales, within the hour. I felt like sitting in the car today because, one, it looks like it's about to rain, and if it rains on my instrument, I'm going to be mad. But two, because it's already 80 degrees, and it is 7:30. Not even. It's 7:20, 7:15. Like, it's, no. So, it's only going to get warmer. Turns out, Fiji's cheaper than Smart Water, so yeah. All that stuff I said about Smart Water, it can go kick a bucket. I don't care. Oh man, that's so much better. It doesn't taste like metal. It's nice. It's, yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, I started that new series, the Final Fantasy V series. You can expect to see more of those. Probably not today, probably not tomorrow. Well, actually, it'd be really late. Well, no, it'd still be Wednesday. Yeah, expect more of those. Final Fantasy V, I wouldn't call it my favorite game of all time, but it's one of those that I've been playing it for years now, and every time I play it, it's a little bit different. I learned something new. There's some cool thing I never would have tried in the first playthrough that I decided to go for in the second. I think I've played through Final Fantasy V, well, 5 times. 5, maybe up to 7 times through. It's a fantastic game. You can't really get it in English on the Super Nintendo, so you have to do an emulator for it, like a fan translation. If you want to get a physical copy, your earliest and likely your safest bet will be the PS1, what is it called? Final Fantasy, it's some sort of collection. It's 5 and 6 together, but you can get Final Fantasy V for the PS1. For all the folks that don't really care for the original experience, they just want to have a fun time with Final Fantasy V, they have a pixel remaster version of it. It is, to my knowledge, mostly accurate, if not pretty much the same game. They have a copy on the one of the, I think it's Game Boy Advance, one of the handhelds, so you can go download an emulator for that as well. I would recommend just getting a fan translation of the Super Nintendo version, because that's going to be where you're going to get the best experience, generally. Though, I've been playing through this current emulated fan translation, and the translation has been kind of iffy. I'm used to having a bit more color in Final Fantasy V, but that's okay. It is what it is. I'm not really playing it for the story, because I've played the story several times. I'm playing it for the 4-Job Fiesta. I explained what that was, but if you hadn't watched that video yet and you want some, you want a good recommendation, or like an analysis of what that is, it is essentially, there's a website online that all they do is they assign random jobs that you can get in Final Fantasy V, and you have to play the entire game using only those jobs. So you get a job from, there's 4 crystals in the game. You get a job from the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And because you only have 4 party members, you're supposed to use them, you're supposed to use one of each. Obviously, you can't use one of each if you only have one. You need to equip those jobs as soon as possible. But I started with, actually, a rather unlucky turn of events. I started with Thief. which gave me flashbacks to when I played Final Fantasy 1. I didn't record it. I played Final Fantasy 1 with an only thief party, and I'm talking that was one of the worst playthroughs of a game I think I've ever done. It was awful. It was torture. One of the early game bosses is almost nearly unbeatable without grinding. I think, actually, yeah, is unbeatable without grinding. And even some of the bosses throughout the game, like, it gets easier the longer you go, but the early game is where thieves get their butt kicked. Really, they get their butt kicked the entire game, but that's where it gets the most. But thieves are kind of just not a great fighting class, and if their only good move is steal, which doesn't do damage to the enemy in any way, shape, or form, it just stakes an item, you'll probably end up using that item to recover from the damage you took trying to steal it, which is my experience so far. The second class I got was the Red Mage. The Red Mage is a weak version of both the White and the Black Mage mixed together. They can use low-level White and Black magic spells, and they're pretty good for the first half of the game, you know, up to probably, if you haven't played, there's like a forest, like a significant forest area about halfway through the game. That's probably where they start falling off the most. But that's pretty much, I mean, it's going to be a good class for a while. Plus, they gain the special ability called Dual Cast, which allows them to cast 2 spells at once. It's pretty nifty. Then I haven't actually made it to the other 2 classes yet, so I'm still working with Thieves and Red Majors. I'll record what jobs I get separately to the video and just have it in the video. That way y'all, 1, know I'm not cheating, and 2, can, you know, try and figure out if that's a good thing or not. Currently coming up on crystal number 3, has probably the highest potential for both a really bad and a really good class. Ninja, notably, is one of the classes I can get. But I can also get Berserker, which is notoriously bad because you can't actually use Berserker. They just use really heavy weapons and are terrible otherwise. You can't control them in battle, which sucks. So, yeah. I didn't explain that real well in my Final Fantasy V video. Just thought I'd go ahead and re-explain it here just for the sake of it. If you're curious about that, I started my playthrough. The first video is about 5 hours long. Y'all saw that. If you just want a good playthrough of Final Fantasy V, I also did not include any audio except for me explaining what a 4-job fiesta was. And then, yeah, I included only the music and such from the game. And then a couple times I had to fast forward through sections because I forgot to save. And y'all don't want to watch me do like 3 sections over, so I fast forwarded through a couple things, but I didn't use any save states or anything, just saves in the game. And then fast forward when I needed it, or when it would be more convenient for y'all to watch. So I did not fast forward any footage, just the game itself. So y'all get to see that on your own time. Obviously right now you're watching this one. I probably need to start it. We've already been going 8 minutes and I've just been talking, but I did get a nice warm up in, so at least there's that. Sitting in my car again, y'all probably noticed. Yeah. So, I'm kind of sleepy today too, but not as bad as I have been all week. Anyway, I guess without further ado, let's get this party started. I've started playing alto again because I realized that I can play pretty good on tenor, but I actually can't play that well on alto either, at least in my opinion. I can play okay, like, you know, like, for someone that's been playing saxophone for 7 years, it's about the average sound you'd get for someone that doesn't play alto as much. But either way, the phone's connected to the car. I successfully connected it this time. So, yeah, we're going to, currently it's set at 68. I'm going to bump it up to 80 and see how that goes. And then if that doesn't work, we'll bump it back down to 60, which is where we started yesterday. Okay, I can work with that. We'll start there. Goal is 120 as usual. If I decide not to go that far, it'll be because this will take probably more than 20 minutes and I want to get to other things. I am going to review the F-sharp series once I'm done with it. So it's not a big deal if I don't immediately get as far as I want. I can always review it. Plus, by the time I get to the end of the series, I should be well good at F-sharp. Also, I completely forgot to mention this. When I do my warm-ups on alto, I decide not to record them because I do, I've discussed it before, altissimo on alto. I can actually play it kind of okay, or at least enough to say I can play it on alto. But right now it doesn't sound very good, so I warm up and I try to warm up my altissimo because I'm trying to figure out how voicing works on alto because it's a little bit different, but it's harder to play generally. So when I try to do the altissimo, it usually sounds really bad. So I don't record the warm-up. I'm not going to until I get good at alto, but that's kind of how I do it on alto. I have a warm-up routine that I do specifically for alto because it feels so different compared to what I'm used to. Like tenor and bari are both rather loose embouchures. Like y'all noticed, I wasn't really being that tight on tenor, and bari's even looser, but this one I almost have to bite to get to work. And that could be from a lack of playing the alto, and that could be because I just suck at alto, which is likely the case. I'm also using my third reed in my rotation of 10. If I recall, my third reed was sitting at around a 5 or a 6 out of 10, so like not a great reed by any means. Wouldn't use it in performance, but it serves its purpose. It's not terrible. I think I shaved it on the back and made it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's not too bad. It could be better, but I'm fine with it. So it's a little bit on the hard side, so if it seems like I'm really airy, that's probably why. Airy is just kind of what happens when you play a reed that's a little bit too hard. I'll exaggerate that for y'all real quick. Let me find a size 4 reed. No, that's not what I'm looking for, but it's close. No, I have one somewhere here, I just don't remember where. No. I used to have a reed case that I'd sort my reeds by like type and size, but I lost that reed case with all the reeds that were in it, and I'm really still a bit disappointed in that. But I think with it I lost my major size 4 reed, so we'll use a new one, which means it's going to be even harder to play and probably bad. Go ahead and do a little bit like that thing. You're supposed to soak these a lot longer than I'm doing right now. This one's sweet. But I'm trying to be quick, so we're not going to bother with that. I'm going to do a little bit of adjustment real quick. That way, if I ever decide to play this reed again, it's playable. But that's about all I'm going to do. Not a whole lot's coming off. It must be kind of flat already. Guess this is a pretty good reed right out of the box. That's nice. Let's see if I can. Very carefully. That should do it. Let's turn that off for a second. Yeah, this is I'm only doing this so y'all can see what it's like to play a harder reed. Actually, I have a friend that plays size 4 reeds. Shout out Miles. You've actually probably seen him before. He's the tenor sax player that sits right next to me in the jazz band videos. He's really good. He's pretty cool too. He's my homie right now. Alright. It's good enough for now. We're just demonstrating, so I'm not gonna play this the whole video unless it's really, really cool. But yeah. Like, I have to put so much more pressure on it than I would a 3.5 or like a softer reed, that it's actually not recommended you go real strong unless you can actually handle it or have like trained it. I play at about a 3.5. This is a size 4. That plank of wood joke I made a few days ago, that's what that means. It's just like a really strong reed that you really have no reason to play, but it is still cool to have. I actually use really strong reeds on embouchure training days when I'm like trying to make my embouchure right. What I'll do is I'll play it for about 10 minutes and then I'll adjust my embouchure as needed in order to get it to play right, and then I'll go a little bit softer and play on the soft reed. Like, I won't bite as much, and then play on the soft reed, and it'll usually make my tone better. In fact, that will probably make my tone just slightly better, even with a little bit I did there. Shout out to Arizona for being 99 cents, by the way. They were on sale at Winn-Dixie for 25% off, so they were 75 cents a can. They're not now anymore, unfortunately, so they're back to being $1, but being $1 is a really good price for a drink nowadays. My favorite one is the RX one. That's a good one. The herbal one. It's got like citrus flavors in it. It's pretty good. The second best one is the Arnold Palmer one. That's my second favorite one. That's the one I used to get all the time, but I've stopped getting it recently. Well, anyway, yeah. I still need to work on that, but we'll come back to it. Anyway. Turn my fan up a little bit. It's hot in here. I can't hear my metronome. There we go. I missed a button. Missed a button again. Different button, but you know. Why is it greasy? My fingers feel greasy. I don't like it. Let's see if I can remedy that. Get my keys to be not greasy. Like, it feels like I'm slipping off the keys. They might just be that smooth. I don't know. Alright, I need to practice that bit alone up to 80. So 60. It's like hot and not at the same time. Like it's cold, but it's not hot. It's not like, I don't know. It's weird. Temperature's weird in here right now. It feels humid. It shouldn't feel humid. It's a car. Cars don't feel humid. They do a little bit, but not this much. Pinky's already hurt. Actuator in the car. There's got to be a better place in this car to sit than right here. It is like terrible. Try something. It's not even the bad transition that I'm having problems with. It's just the other notes. Alright. That's so weird. Yeah. Turn my fan all the way up. Maybe I can even out the air in the car. We'll just straight cold and then let it get warm or something. I'm gonna skip it and come back to it. I know for a fact I'll have to do this kind of again. The B series has pretty much the exact same very low bit of the scale, so I probably will end up doing it a second time anyway. But I really do need to practice it though. It's kind of a problem. We'll come back to it. I want to do the minor scales. Just didn't get to them yesterday, so we're gonna start at 80. Alright, turn that down again. Okay. See, I'm not going another note down because I don't have a low A. I only have a low A sharp, and it becomes an A in the minor key If I was playing Barry, I'd have to go one more note down, though. I can't show you what that would sound like, but it would be cool if I could, wouldn't it? Either way. Worst part is my eyes aren't even closed. They're still open like this. But my eyes are so small that it looks like they're closed from here. Looks like I'm taking a nice peaceful nap. I'm staring right at the camera and I can see me in the eyes. I can see my eyes. I'm sure y'all can too, but it's really funny. For someone that can't see that, it looks really funny. Anyway. I do close my eyes while I'm playing occasionally, but not today. Only when I'm playing like really fast or when I'm playing really loud. That's pretty much the only times. Water break. Cap's not as stable. It broke. Like, really easily, actually. I keep a lot of luck charms in my saxophone cases. That one is my luck charm for my alto. I think I have a tiny duck in there too, but I don't remember if I do or not anymore. Brandon, one of my friends, handed me a bottle cap. I keep that in my tenor case. I don't have anything in my Barry case right now, and my soprano has a little cross in it. So That's probably a good one. Okay. 108. I had to check my gas because when I leave the car running, it burns gas. If you didn't know, but I had to check my gas because it's pretty low, and I don't want to run out of gas before I pull out of this parking lot. I'm gonna go get more after this video is over. So yeah. Good. 112. There we go. That was better. Moving on, 116. So, one of my coworkers just put this on my sleeve earlier, and I set it down, and I guess I got it stuck to the bottle. It was not buy one, get one free, but if it was, I would have got two, because I like Fiji. It's good. It doesn't taste like metal. I think I'm rushing. Next, 120. We'll go with it. I'm gonna end up working on something that's even harder on the next one. So, melodic minor, yay! Everybody's favorite scale. To literally no one. I don't know if anyone plays the melodic minor scale for fun. I don't. I play the regular minor. I play the natural minor scale for fun. Which is really funny because that's just a major scale. Either way. There's a cute little dog out there. Oh yeah. Okay, so I have two choices. I can either play all of the notes as it would be in the melodic minor, or I can go up and stay in the natural minor on the last bit, because otherwise I get a really weird thing going on. I think for my sanity, I'm going to do the natural minor on the very top, just because why not? Right. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So, yeah, I haven't done much ranting this video. I'm kind of proud of myself. Minus the opening, of course. Yeah, and that little bit I did with the size 4 reed, but either way. That's barely a rant though. That was a demonstration anyway. It was helpful. Look how soaked my reed is, you guys. You can see through the top of it. That's not a good thing. If you can see through your reed, you need to swap it out. I'm not gonna do that because that would take too much time away from what little time we actually do have, because I want to go to bed on time today. But I really should swap it out right now. That's how nasty it is. How gross it is. Like, it's legitimately sliding out of my mouth. It happens. I generate way too much spit. I don't know why I generate as much spit as I do, but legitimately I could fill a 16-ounce water bottle with the sheer amount of spit I generate from playing. Like, I think I'm trying to think how much I do on Barry, because I can fill up the spit valve within 2 hours, make it so it gurgles, which is really fun. I want to say that that's almost 4 fluid ounces, so within a whole day of play, if I played for 8 hours straight, I could fill up a 16-ounce water bottle with spit. It's gross, and it's common, but it soaks through reeds like you would not believe. That's another reason I get plastic reeds, is because I soak through the cane ones like there's no tomorrow. Anyway. Good. too. Yeah. I'll have another little rant here just for the sake of it. Why not? I just remembered that other brands of reeds exist again. I was digging through my bag and I remembered that I have these. These are a different brand. You can read them. It says Rico. This isn't the one I was looking for, but let's find one. Let's find a better example. There it is. You see how that says a size 4? It's a Rico Royal Reed. Well, different brands of reeds have different strengths for their strength markings. So at the low end, it's pretty much all the same. You can use a 2.5 reed on a Rico and a 2.5 reed on a Van Doren, no problem. But Rico is weaker than Van Doren by a decent margin, and that difference expands almost exponentially per strength. So like you can get away with using a 2.5 on both Rico and Van Doren, but once you hit 3, it gets kind of tricky. Then at 3.5, a size 3 Van Doren reed is about the same as a 3.5. It's a little over, but about the same as a 3.5 size, or a little under the 3.5 size Rico. But once you hit this 4.0 gap, this is a 3.5 reed in Van Doren. Like there's so little, in fact, this is weaker than that. There is, I don't know why different brands use different sizes to mark their reeds with, especially when most brands don't make past 3.5 or 4 anyway, when they could just, you know, expand those and not shrink them like Rico does. But it's kind of confusing because I can hand a new student a size 2.5 Rico and I can hand a different student a size 2.5 Van Doren, and one of them will struggle more than the other. More often than not, of course. One of them might have a naturally stronger jaw, but either way, one of them's going to struggle just a little bit more because Van Doren reeds are generally stronger, which is why you'll see classical players use them more often than most. Some jazz players use them if you want like a harder reed. Van Doren's probably the way to go anyway, just because they make all of the big sizes. I don't know many people that play past a 3.5. Like I said, Miles plays a 4, but it's really unheard of to go past 4. At least you might experiment with a 4 if you're like me, or play a 4 for some reason, but they go past that. They go up to 5, and I think I've heard of maybe one player in the entire history of humanity that played a 4.5. I've never heard of anyone that played 5s. Like, those are not very common reeds to come across. They're actually cheaper because no one buys them, which is a fun fact. I thought about training my jaw to where I could play a 5 just so I could save the $3 I would pay for normal reeds compared to those. Yeah. I don't know why I decided to rant about that, but I just felt like it needed to be said. There are different strengths for reeds, depending on the brand. Bringing synthetic reeds into this, synthetic reeds are actually stronger than cane reeds, generally. Like, at least Leger, which is the big synthetic company, their strength are actually stronger than Van Doren reeds, where Rico is weaker. So I think if you play a 3.5 Van Doren reed and it's almost too hard, but it's not quite, then you would go down to a 3.25 Leger synthetic reed. But if you could play it pretty comfortably like I do, you'd probably stay at 3.5 or even go up to 3.75. They also have the quarter sizes, which is really nifty because their difference isn't quite as far as Rico's, but it is still a pretty hefty difference, and it's nice to have that little bit of customization. So yeah, that's a little fun fact. I guess I need to do a fun fact every video. I just feel I need to, I don't know why. Also, I found out while I was, y'all saw that editing video, the one where I edited all the talking out of it. I found out that of that 23 minutes, only 16 of it was playing. Which in my head is like 66% of the video is playing. Meaning that in an hour-long video, I only play for about 40 minutes, which means I've been lying to you. Which I feel terrible about, but it's still going to be the case because I want to go home. Anyway, melodic minor scale. Gross. Perfect. All right, moving on. 96. There we go. 100. My body shakes because I'm like throwing my pinky at the. Actually, I can show you. Yeah, that's how much it moves. It kind of has to. Some players I've seen can actually do that completely still. I cannot. In fact, the only way I can get it to work is if I move, because I don't know, for whatever reason I get more energy if I move, which makes the key go down faster. Yeah, a couple more reps to be sure. That second to last one wasn't a bad rep. I was just getting a bad vibe. Sometimes you just get a bad vibe from a rep and you just need to stop. That happens. It's common. Don't be surprised if you stop in the middle of a perfect run because you just ain't feel right. That's normal. Good enough. 104. I'm not sucking down this water by any means, but it's definitely better. So I might have hyped it up too much. It is just water after all. Zephyrhills is the best one, which is really funny because it's also one of the cheapest ones. But either way, spring water for you. Yeah, apparently I don't care that much for, what is it, Japanese water? Fiji? I think Fiji is Japan, right? I might just be stupid. Where's Fiji its own country? I don't think. Oh, from the islands of Fiji. Maybe its own country. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's in a different country somewhere. I just don't remember where. Post in the comments if you know. I'm not going to look it up later. There we go. That's more like it. 112. Yeah, we're flying through these minor scales a little bit faster than I thought I would, but either way. Really, I just don't want to do the scale in thirds. Because it's so frustrating. It's terrible. I don't know why it's so frustrating to play. I don't know why I can't play it. Every other scale I can play kind of okay. Not the scale in thirds. Nope. I have to start that one at like 30 beats a minute just to even get a feasible run out of it. Stupid. I hate it. That's why it's there. Because I hate it and it sucks. And it wants to be mean to me. It's bullying. This is bullying. I'm not playing the E minor or the C sharp minor. I'm playing the F sharp minor. Quit it. Yeah, I might be Swedish. I don't know. I'm not Swedish. Though I am mostly German, so I'm sure that surprised many of y'all out there. A tall white man might be German. I'm sure that surprised a bunch of you just then, who like sauerkraut and all things German. Who'd have known that that guy might be mostly German? Woo! Crazy. That was good, except for this fact that I brain farted halfway through the scale. I forgot where I was going. Muscle memory, folks, it only gets you so far, but you should probably develop it. Good enough. All right. What do we got? 5 minutes. My choices are revisit the scale in thirds, which I probably should do, or move on to the major pentatonic scale, which I want to do. Actually, I don't want to do either of those. Both of those sound miserable to me right now. Scale in thirds, because I feel like torturing myself for the next 10 minutes. That's probably good. I can read like how far I am in the video, by the way. The little recorder at the top of the screen tells me. When I mean 10 minutes, I literally do just mean 10 minutes. I don't mean that like there's 10 minutes left. I just mean that I'm gonna do it for 10 minutes. We'll probably go a little longer than that. Depends on how long the rep takes. I also have to pee really bad right now. I'm fighting for my life here. We're pretty much gonna end the video whenever I'm about to pee myself. So yeah. I'm gonna leave it on 120, but this will be the 8th note, not the so like it'll be. Y'all get the idea. So yeah, we're gonna do it like that. See if that helps. It usually does, but today might be just a bad day for me. We'll see. It's going pretty well so far, I would say. I almost had it. Besides the note that none of the notes wanted to speak and I had to force them out, I actually got all the fingerings pretty much there. I'm gonna give that a couple more shots though. I know that I just said I have to pee, but I'm also really thirsty, so yeah, we're gonna fight it. Okay, I didn't want to do this. We're gonna. I'm also getting congested now. The sun's out for some reason. I don't know why. I was breathing perfectly fine before I started this video. Now I can't breathe out my left nostril. I think it's left. I don't know my nifty, my white. So besides the fact that I just ran out of breath, I actually did something pretty cool there. I don't think this will be good to carry over to fast, but I went, I held my finger on the C sharp button before sliding over here. Something like that. I don't know how that worked out, but, and I can't replicate it, but apparently it worked, and whatever. I love that we can't even get this scale up to 60 beats per minute when we can get the rest of them to 120 with minimal, you know, like bad, with minimal mistake. Really, it's not even mistakes, it's just like not playing all of the notes evenly. I was doing it right, but like, we're not even at 60 beats a minute, by the way. Currently I have the metronome set to 108, but you divide that by 2. I'm at 54 beats per minute. I'm going slower than a second. It's awful. I just cannot play saxophone, apparently. tired. My lips hurt. This Alto's awful, and I hate Alto. Why do I play Alto? It's not fun. It'd be more fun if I was good at it, but man, I suck at it. You know what's probably going to end up happening tomorrow? I'm going to spend the entire day working on this scale alone. That's going to be so miserable. But I'm going to do it. You know what? That's what we're doing tomorrow. I'm spending an entire day on the major scale on thirds. Tomorrow? Not tomorrow. I work out tomorrow. Wednesday. We will suffer. So, but that's all for today, I think. Thank y'all for joining me. I just wanted to keep the video short so I could go home today and sleep and pee and go to the gas station and all the things. Thank you all for watching. I think this is video number 15, which means or 14, which means we've officially made it through 2 weeks of this stuff. I'm not celebrating as much as the other week because I figured it would be a lot faster now that I'm getting into the groove of things. And it kind of is. So I thank y'all for joining me. Be on the lookout for more Final Fantasy V. I will be back on Wednesday to play some more after my gym day. Clay and I have decided that we're only gonna do 2 days a week. That way I can practice on more mornings, and we're gonna do heavier, more intense workouts for those 2 days. We're gonna do arms and core, and then we're going to do legs and back with a tiny amount of core, because we want to do core every time, but we want to focus on it one of the days. So that's how it's going to go. I'm not going to go into all the details because y'all want to go home and go to bed, I'm sure. Or some of y'all haven't even wake up yet. Either way. Yep. Goodness gracious. If y'all want to frame a reference for how close it is for school to be starting, for all you in Clay County, you start the week before I do, and I have to be back on the 16th of next month. We are a month away from college. I still haven't got my audition music, notably, but I think that's just, he's waiting. I don't know how long he's waiting, but he is waiting. But also, I moved back on August 16th. It is now July 13th. Which is a month and 3 days away. I definitely will not be able to do all the scale series in that time. I think I'm going to hit the ones I suck at, like, miserably, and then those are going to be kind of the last few. And then I might do a redemption round on G, but I don't really have to. It's not a terrible one. Now that I've got that transition more down, I'm not so worried about it. It's just I need to work on other things. So I haven't decided what those are going to be yet because I just thought of that, but I am going to do it. We're going to continue to do F sharp because it's the hardest one probably. We're going to do B because B sucks. We're going to do E flat because I really struggled in E flat, and we're going to struggle in D flat as well, though that one's not quite as bad from what I recall. I'm still gonna do it though, because it can be a pain. So we're gonna do E flat, D flat, F sharp. What was the other one I said? B. We're gonna do those. Probably throw an A flat in there just for the sake of it. I don't think I need to do E. I might if I have time. I definitely don't have to do A. A is really easy. Let me show you how easy A is. You know that when we were going down on the melodic minor scale, just imagine that the whole time. It was so easy. I just suck at low notes. old bird over there. I'm pointing. Look at that. Look, it's a hawk. Look at it. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. I'm gonna try and look at that. Look at that. It's a big old bird. Anyway. Yeah. You'll get the idea though. I'm unpracticed, but I probably don't have to do it so hard. I probably just spend a day working on kind of the harder ones like the scale in thirds, the minor scales, maybe a couple arpeggios. Like like, the arpeggios are easy. The pentatonic scale's not too bad. Whole tone scale's never going to be too bad. It's just kind of the first few scales that actually need the work. I'll probably work on the whole tone scale, though that one is notable in the fact that I will be working on it no matter what. So not with the F sharp series, but the B series will cover that one. The E flat series will cover that one. The D flat series will cover that one. So we'll be all right. I might practice that one, probably not though. D series is probably the easiest one for me to do because D is my favorite. I went back up. Yeah, that one's kind of, I mean, the scale in third, so it sucks, but either way, it's probably the easiest one for me. And that has a transition in there. But either way. Yeah, like I don't go down after that because I don't have that note. Or that one's not too bad. Yeah, either way, you get the idea. I played too long. But like those aren't too bad for me. I do need to practice them, but not nearly as much. Those I can do in college while we're reviewing. So F sharp series, B series, E flat, A flat, D flat, potentially E. I could see that one being a problem, but I don't think it'll be too bad. I guess that's it. I have to pee, so I'm gonna go. Thank y'all. I about said love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Have a good one. See you on Wednesday. Unless I do a Final Fantasy V video between now and then. Either way, see you Wednesday.